Episode 5, compliance. Now there might be lots of different compliance areas that you have to comply with if your business falls into a certain sector. So financial services, food, each of those sectors will have their regulatory body and there will be a lot of guidance on there. But I just want to talk about a couple of things that might be applicable to all businesses. So data protection, for example, it's almost certain that you will have personal data in your business. If that's the case, then you do need to register with the Information Commissioner's Office to make sure that you are permitted to handle personal data. Personal data consists of all sorts of information, and the rules can look very complicated. But in essence, what you need to make sure is that you always have the right permissions to use the data that you have for the purpose that you're using it for. Essentially, that involves making data protection privacy notices to go on your websites or on other forms of your communications to your customers that tell them what data you collect, why you collect it, what you're using it for. Then you have to follow the other rules around storage and destruction, basically making sure that you handle data securely and get rid of it in a confidential way. Again, there are experts out there who will help you with this, including myself. But you can find a lot of free information on the ICO website, so that's a good starting point. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about was advertising. There is a lot of regulation around advertising, which again can look very complicated. Basically, the rules around adverts are that you need to be fair, transparent, and not misleading in your communications. You mustn't overstate what your products can do, neither must you give prices that are not accessible to the public. It's really important to look at your advertising and make sure that they are truthful. It's also not good to upset your customers by being misleading anyway, so usually it's just good common sense. One other area I wanted to mention, which people often forget, is on around websites and online selling to consumers. Consumer rights, as I mentioned in earlier videos, are very, very important as they are different when you're working from a B2B to a B2C context. One area that you need to make sure you comply with is something called cooling off. All consumers have the right to have 14 days in which to change their mind if they buy goods online. You can create exceptions to that if you make a bespoke product and give the right declarations to the customer, but it's quite difficult to get that right, so do make sure that you take advice on that point. Other consumer rights are that they are entitled to receive goods that are of satisfactory quality, that are fit for purpose, and that meet the descriptions that there are in your advertising. So yes, look online if you need any more help with that. The Citizens Advice have a very good site on B2C rights and remedies. So yeah, that's about it so far. Helping you tick the box is obviously my job, and hopefully this will give you some ideas of the things that you need to think about.